Obviously, the weekend was very much about me and John McLeod, the race to win the Fangio, which is the older person's championship. I beat him in the first race. He beat me in the second race. So it was all down to that last race, and whoever finished in front of who was going to win the championship. It's going into the first corner. It was, a reasonably tight start. Suddenly everything opened up to me on the left-hand side. So I took my chance, went round the outside of John. Brands, said, you probably know, goes into a dip and then comes up to Druids. You sort of naturally blend to the right. And unfortunately, that just sent me to the right, where the track narrows straight into the barriers, and didn't really get a chance to do much about it. Unfortunately, there was another car on the inside, and that sort of knocked me a bit straighter into the barrier, so it was a harder hit than normal. From then on, I was sort of shoveled over. Going over, I remember seeing blue sky, everything tumbling over, bits flying everywhere, but at that point you're just sort of not really engaging with anything, and everything came to a standstill. I'm up on the side, and the next thing I remember, all the medics were around. The marshals were fantastic, straight on the scene, and I really remember sort of just releasing my buckles, but knew I was in a little bit of trouble, serious back pain, and like I say, they were there very quick. So testament to the car, first of all. The Radical is so strong. You imagine the hit that I took, front end, the crash box did its job, everything did its job. I had no leg injuries at all, and the car itself was brilliant. It did what it needed to do. Once I was extracted, obviously I had bad back injuries, spinal injuries. They were very good at putting me on a spinal board. They were there looking after me, strapping me in. A lot of decisions whether I was going to go air ambulance or by road, and where I was going to go. I just felt very comfortable that I was in good hands, so I wasn't overly worried at that point. I just thought, I've hurt myself, didn't really know how much. By the time I got to the medical centre, they decided where I was going. I was told it was an 1.5-hour ambulance ride under blue lights, and we got to the hospital, where they obviously diagnosed I'd broken my back in 4 places. I'd broken my sternum and my ribs, which, when you look at the impact now I've had a chance to sort of re-look over all the video, it's not surprising. I think the adrenaline's still pumping. You didn't really feel too much. Bear in mind, I was strapped to a spinal board. I had the blocks around my head. So I can tell you what the roof of the ambulance looked like, but I can't tell you anything else. I was really just prone for that moment and couldn't do anything. I can remember in A&E, a lot of people around me, a lot of people making sort of assumptions on what's going to happen, and until the doctors and the specialists came round, there was a little bit of confusion over quite how bad it was. I think the realisation was, once I'd been admitted to the major trauma ward, and the realisation of what actually had happened, I think you then start to process that. What I thought was going to recover, I actually got worse, and then I was admitted back in again after seeing the top specialist, who then realised my spine injuries were worse than they had initially thought. And then I underwent surgery straight away, and I've got plates, pins, pillars, all sorts in my back to sort of fuse the bits of my spine together, which is great. I'm back on my feet now, and I'm bionic. I've had a chance now with some of my friends in the paddock today just to relive some of the photographs and video, and you see the impact and how the whole thing happened. It is just testament to that strength. And you think that design of chassis has been going for some years, and it has proven to be a great design. Protects you, it does what it says. The whole system worked, and that's why I'm here and I'm walking around and I'm smiling. And because give it another few months, they say 6 months to a year before let's say the aching goes away. There's a lot of nerve damage when you've had some sort of back injury like that that's needed a fairly large scar. It will get better, it will go away. I'm back under physio now, so I'm trying to get a lot better with the use of my legs, my bendy. So I'm a bit rigid at the moment, but I'll get bendy, and then should be okay. So next year, maybe a few track days. Let's see what happens with the racing. Maybe I may be a spectator. The opportunity arose, as probably a lot of people know, with Fine Cut. We are a multifaceted digital printing, laser cutting, a lot of bespoke work that we do. And obviously we make bespoke trophies. So we've been making the Radical trophies now for quite some years, and everyone seems to like them. They're different every year. And the opportunity arose for us to make the trophies for this year, but also to be the title sponsor. And we jumped at the chance, so the Fine Cut Radical Cup was born, and so therefore here I am really in a capacity of title sponsor, as well as meeting a lot of people old and new in the paddock. So long may it continue, and like we say, Fine Cut goes from strength to strength, and hopefully so will Radical.